Alright, so we are now getting into the Advent season. And I got a question that was pretty relevant to the Advent season. Quiltomancy here was asking if I could make a video on the age of Mary. And I'm guessing what you're asking here is for me to talk about the age that Mary was when she gave birth to Jesus. Now, scholars aren't in total agreement on how old exactly she was, but it was highly likely that Mary was underage. Somewhere between 12 and 17. And obviously, when we look at this, we go, that's too young. Now, this could open us up to having several different conversations. The first of which is the one I hear the most when it comes to Mary's age, which is how we should discuss things that were commonplace in the past that we now know are very wrong. Things that were wrong then and wrong now, but weren't seen as wrong in the past. And that is a very interesting discussion to have. However, I think we are invited to have another discussion. Because here's the thing about the story of Jesus. Pretty much everything about the story of Jesus invites us to discomfort. It invites us to sit in our discomfort and examine ourselves. Jesus was poor and brown and from a bad neighborhood. He preached love and kindness and mercy. He invites us to sit with those we see as sinners or outcasts. He was a refugee, born to a teenage mother who was unwed at the time of his conception. And I think what Mary's age is inviting us to do is to ask ourselves how we respond when girls get pregnant. How do we treat them? How do we react to them? Do we believe them? It invites us to see a teenage unwed mother as holy. And the church has done everything in its power to not do that. The church desperately wants to hold Mary to a different standard. The church desperately does not want to have that conversation. But we need to. We have to ask ourselves, especially around this time of Advent, and especially with our political climate of today, how do we treat teenage mothers? How do we treat unwed mothers? Was Mary's pregnancy consensual because of her age? Even if she thought it was, it invites us to all of these questions we are still grappling with today. It also makes us have to ask questions about fundamentalism, because if this is a real historical thing that happened, then God is evil. I have complicated feelings about the virgin birth that I can get into in another video, but I really do think that the whole story of Jesus and the story of Mary, they are inviting us to see a teenage unwed mother as holy. It is inviting us to examine our biases against this group of people, to ask ourselves how much we value their lives and how much we value their autonomy.